Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing? We have the early chatters who are in, and yeah, obviously, kind of big stuff happening yesterday in the news. I know I usually start with climate change, so try not to be too rowdy about the fact that I'm going to cover, I'm going to talk about some news to start the show off with. But we have good people in the chat. J.A. Moniker, Judy Truitt, Kuro Hikes, Scott Andrews, Cindy Seeley, For the Biosphere, what's up? Keith Hayes says people need to be more upset about not being told about the 3 other dead right away. And also, I guess somebody brought up the fact that there were some bombs found somewhere. Interglacial Optimist, you're back from being banned by YouTube? Interesting. Welcome to my people on Rockfin, Ken Greenfield and Jacob Gordon. Hello. Thanks for hanging out with me on Rockfin. Please come say hi on Rockfin, rokfin.com. Thanks for the super chat, Natural Progressive, starting it off with a big old thumbs up. Good to see you. Yeah. Oh, Rich Diana, absolutely. I appreciate you. Yes, no, you had some trouble. No, thank you for reminding me. Yes, I did get it. Thank you so much, Rich Diana. I appreciate your support tremendously. I appreciate all your support tremendously. Also, I got a couple of tips the other day. Jay Thadcast and Poppy Davis, like 2 days ago. And I didn't see him until after I had signed off the video. So anyways, thank you, Jay Thadcast and Poppy Davis, for the tips. Also, there was another one from Puff Adderall. But yes, Rich Diana, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support. It helps keep this channel going. Absolutely. What's up? Everybody say hi to Muzza. Muzza is in the chats. Yeah, no, all is well. I just have had a couple crazy days, and they look like they might continue. Kuro Hikes, thanks for the super chat. Long live the captain. Han Solo, reporting for duty. See, what's up? Anyways, Nazbanab says Trump and Ted 24. Oh Lord. Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Anyways, so, okay. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, a lot went on yesterday, and there's a lot of, upset, turmoil. People are aghast and bewildered, and oh my God. But first of all, I'm going to say if y'all are not watching Last American Vagabond, they're doing really good work. I think I think he's interviewing Whitney Webb right now, but yes, Judy Truitt, limitations on speech, indeed. So, your environmental Seattle says streamer friends were in DC yesterday. It's clear who's trying to grab power. Well, I don't know. Who do you think is trying to grab power? What is your take? Let me know. Yeah, spoiled rope lamppost tip or TIP of the iceberg. Um, so let's just start at the beginning because there's a lot to talk about. Um, so there was a lot of people commenting on the fact that these protesters were allowed in. Why were they allowed in? Oh my God! What were the guards doing? What was happening? Why were I think the first assumption was like they were allowed in because Trump allowed them in, or the police that were in cahoots with Trump allowed them in. There were pictures of people, policemen taking selfies with the protesters. Anyways, I referenced The Last American Vagabond because he has a couple good videos today, and a good summation of some things that I have been talking about on this channel, being that Trump is a false flag. This whole scenario looks like it's something of a false flag, right? We have the Viking guy. We have a couple of people that look like they were at other protests on the other side, or they were at BLM protests or Antifa protests, showing up, storming the Capitol in league with the Trump supporters. Oh, how could that possibly be happening? And why? What would be the point of this being a false flag? What would be the point of this being a false flag? And I have said this before. What would be the point of Trump being a false flag? And that would be to give reason to generate enthusiasm for censorship, state control of information, locking down and shutting up anybody who the establishment does not agree with, locking down and keeping quiet people who are talking about things that are outside of the established narrative, because we must not have people proposing things or talking about things that are outside the narrative. Fiorella also remarks on this. Being in the Capitol and seeing what happened was insane and scary. The vast majority were not violent or armed, yet some got in there with guns and were let in by police, and that's really weird and entirely feels done on purpose. Especially since there's a call to unite, quote unquote, and impeach. Somebody else, good comment. Seems like they let it happen so they can pass new laws to further curtail protests. Yeah. I mean, they are ramping up all the censorship on all the platforms. If you haven't noticed, you probably aren't. You're probably saying all the right things or saying all the nice things, or you're okay. You're on the good side of the narrative. If you walk on in any way, shape, or form on the bad side of the narrative, then you know right away that there's a lot of censorship going on. And it is everywhere. And, it affects everybody, even climate changers. Case in point, Planet of the Humans, which they tried to take down. They tried to censor, and they tried to say anybody who likes this film or promotes its ideas as a crazy, wild-eyed, eco-fascist eugenicist, blah, blah, blah. Right? The elite know things are collapsing, and they would love to preemptively criminalize resistance. Who is this? Goody Weaver cavorting at the end of the world. So this is nice handle. I'm going to say ding, ding, ding. Fiorella, they're literally invoking the 25th Amendment. I mean, come on. We have 13 days until the inauguration. So how much chaos can we generate 2 weeks before Trump goes away, and we don't have Trump anymore to be the big bad boogeyman, the big bad blow-up balloon walking around, just wrecking things wrecking the American way. The interesting thing, Jay Thadcast, this was no protest. It was a POTUS-directed mob. Well, check this out. I'm going to show you something that's very interesting. Very interesting. Really? Planet of the Humans isn't on YouTube anymore? Really? I thought it was back on. I thought they put it back up. But listen, Jay Thadcast, what if it was not a POTUS-directed mob, but it was a false flag directed mob, meaning, FBI, CIA, whoever, let's make this show happen so that we can give everybody everybody is really upset and we can give them a good reason to, we're going to start censoring the bad people. And what happened yesterday? Trump, his Twitter went down. At least for 12 hours. I don't know if it's back up or not. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But this is interesting. This claim of election fraud is disputed. And this tweet can't be replied to, retweeted, or liked due to a risk of violence. Really? Claiming an election fraud is a risk of violence? I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. He was telling people to go home. Yes, he did say, come follow me. He said, come to the Capitol. But he wasn't saying, take over the Senate building. He wasn't saying, hurt people. He said, come to the Capitol and march and protest, which people have a right to do, right? If I said tomorrow, let's have a climate change protest, come to LA City Hall and protest, come with me. It's not inciting violence. He didn't incite violence. I'm sorry. You're straight up wrong. He did not incite violence. He said, come with me, come to the Capitol. We're disputing this election fraud that, we claim is election fraud. Whatever. That's another subject that we can debate. But, there is an issue there. The issue is election fraud. And the people on his side feel like there was election fraud. So they're coming to the Capitol to dispute or protest election fraud. He didn't say take over the building. And he told people to go away. He's like, go home now, whatever. You can debate the language and the we love you very much and all that kind of stuff. We love you. You're very special by Crystal Ball. Repeating Trump's words, but he said, go home. So, claiming election fraud is not an incitement to violence. That is straight up bonkers. That's like saying, having a discussion about overpopulation is eugenicism, eugenicist talk, or it's eco-fascism, or, who are you going to kill first? No, we're talking about the problem of population, right? So you see the transmutation of language from one, trying to saying one thing mean something totally different. No, specifically, the issue is election fraud. That's not an incitement to violence. Somebody has an issue with it. So here's the interesting point. Here's the interesting point I want to bring up, which I was thinking about early this morning, and then I was watching Last American Vagabond, and I was like, "You all are like dinging the bell, dinging the same bell that I was thinking about." But anyways, all of this happened right when Congress was certifying, the Electoral College votes for Biden. They were in the process of disputing those Electoral College, the election results. They were in the process of disputing that. And then this thing happened. These people came into the building. They disrupted that process. It was stopped. And then they certified Joe Biden later without any debate, right? So why would they do that? If it was, Trump knows that they were disputing, Ted Cruz and, whatever, the other people, the Republican people, those guys, they were disputing the election results in the Senate. Why would Trump go, everybody get into the building and disrupt the whole proceedings and lock it down? because they're disputing the election right now. Why would you do that? They basically locked the whole thing down, kicked everybody out, and said, we're going to just ratify the election. So they stopped the proceedings in which they were disputing the results. Why would they do that? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So was this really Trump directed, or was it something else? Ryan Gorman, Patriot Act 2.0. Indeed. Osama number 5, the football. Sweet Leaf, infiltrating the building reminded me of the same chances of a plane hitting the Pentagon. Yes, just saying. Exactly. So there were the other issues of people running, pell-mell into the building, into the Senate building, and just like one cop being there going like, hey guys, cut it out, right? Why? Okay, they knew there was going to be a protest there. This protest, by the way, was organized weeks beforehand. It wasn't just, they just didn't show up. It was organized weeks beforehand. They knew this was happening. They knew there was going to be protests. They knew that they were going to certify the election yesterday. They knew this was happening. So there's one cop inside the building. There's a couple of cops, protecting the Capitol building. They're barely pushing back on these people. Oh, they just called in the National Guard, after the fact. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense to you? They had plenty of time to see this coming and to prepare for it. Keith Hayes, Boston bombing 2.0. Clay Baum, the entire system is corrupt. He probably did win. Boldrope Lamppost, 10,000 paid actors. Michael Lee says Trump inspired. Maybe. What inspired? How though? He just said, "Come protest." That's not the same as inciting violence. That's not the same as tear this mother down, right? That's totally different. Realize. Trump directed with help from the police who endorsed Trump for president after. Well, they did endorse Trump. You're right. So yeah, there's some funny business there for sure, but well, Poppy Davis says none of it makes any sense to me. The bottom line, Michael Lee and Poppy Davis, again, this is a false flag for the people in power, whatever you want to call them, the deep state, the elites, the oligarchs, the whatever, the people with the, pulling the levers of power. This is a reason for them to exert more control. It just gives them another excuse. And they've been using the word a lot, domestic terrorism a lot. And the headlines all over Twitter, all over everywhere, they were, terrorists take over the Capitol. Right. So you designate anybody who is anti-establishment narrative, anti-establishment in any way, shape, or form. You designate them as, in league with domestic terrorists or QAnon or Trump or whatever it is. You just paint them with the brush. You're outside, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're outside the norm. You're outside the establishment message. You're outside of what the establishment narrative. You're outside of the fact checkers. You're outside of the terms of operation on Twitter, whatever it is. And then they have this mechanism. They have a reason. They have an excuse to censor people, to shut people down, to shut down any anti-establishment narrative. That's anything that's counter what Jimmy Dore screaming at a webcam or screaming at people. Oh my God, he's inciting terrorism, right? Oh my God, he's yelling. Oh, he's inciting violence, right? And then that was echoed by who? AOC. But it's violence. Right? Do you see what I'm getting at? Natural Progressive says they knew it was coming and use it to propagandize the public. Indeed. Indeed. Gene, there was a rumor that Putin was behind it. Oh, okay. Funny. Michael Lee, my gay husband, wanted to drive all the way to D.C. to go freak watching. He's crazy. Well, I don't know. Could have been fun. So, yeah, but realize. Let me show you. Let me show you something. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is crazy. This is crazy. I got this from Last American Vagabond today, and here we go.
This is when they let them in, where they literally, without any reason to, seemingly, stood back and opened the gates themselves. Take a look.
Police are squabbling with protesters.
Okay, he said, now the guy's reporting the squabbling, which, I mean, obviously it seems to be happening the whole time, but do you see that? I don't see I see people standing there and cops making the conscious decision to move the gates.
Police are squabbling
Look at
with
that.
protesters.
Opening the gates. And there's already a guy back here, which makes no sense to me. Just, hey, come on. Let's all go. The cops are walking away.
Guys, hold on. I got to play that again because the cops are literally waving these people in. And there's somebody else in the back behind the cops going, come on. This is called false flag in action. One more time, because you got to watch this.
Is when they let them in, where they literally, without any reason to, seemingly, stood back and opened the gates themselves. Take a look.
Police are squabbling with protesters.
Okay, he said, now the guy's reporting the squabbling.
Watch the police.
Which, I mean, obviously it seems to be happening the whole time, but do you see that?
Police.
I don't see I see people standing there and cops making the conscious decision to move the gates.
Watch this guy wave him in.
Look at that. Opening the gates. And there's already a guy back here, which makes no sense to me. Just, hey, come on. Let's all go. The cops are walking away.
Yeah. Whoa, they were just crazy. They were just overrunning the Capitol. Oh my God. Yes, Robert Araujo hired actors and agitators. Right. Okay, so MAGA cops, but why would they, nah. They're not, they wouldn't be waving them in. Come on. I mean, agreed, and indeed, I will totally agree. If these were BLM protesters or Antifa or anybody on the left, anybody really agitating for like, I don't know, First Amendment rights, press freedom, Julian Assange being pardoned, Medicare for all, anything like that. If people were agitating for anything like that, they'd meet a much more violent fate. Gene says, I'm not surprised the cops think of these MAGAs as their buddies. I'm just saying, you could look at it in two ways. You could say it was all just a big MAGA Trump conspiracy. Or if you see it as a play, if you see it as kabuki theater, then this is all concocted, if you will, to allow people to get really outraged and we're gonna need more censorship, guys. We're gonna need to lock these guys down. Good God, thank God, Trump's off of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter now. Yeah, Judy Truitt, police and military are authoritarian by nature. The whole like opening the gates thing, it's just, come on, man. Come on. And we know that people in the white, people all around Trump are working against Trump. They knew this was happening, that this protest was happening. These are DC police, right? That's a Democratic mayor of DC. So the Democratic mayor of DC allowed the police to just let these people in? Okay. Osama, just like in Charlottesville, the police stood down. I am Sweetleaf. BLM has never been welcomed like that. Those are not DC police. Those were DC police in the video. Those were DC police. And why, again, why is there, okay, Trump doesn't control the House or the Senate building. Why is there one guy in there? Why is there one guy in there, inside the building to keep all these people at bay? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Well, and another interesting, let me see, your environment, Seattle. If this is proof of a false flag, explain how CHOP started. It was a sick out police walking off the job. I don't know. I don't know really what went on with that, and I don't know a lot of the details. But I think Seattle. I think different cities have different ways of dealing with things. Like Seattle is not Chicago or DC. Seattle and Portland. They're much more progressive. Yes, and the police did walk off their job. An interglacial optimist defund DC. Yes. Capitol Police specifically. Yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, BLM protesters or Antifa protesters would never have been. Environment Seattle says those are Capitol Police working for the sergeant at arms. True. I mean, so look, I'm putting this out there for your perusal. You can think of it how you like. I'm just saying, I'm just saying that I this is kind of a handy dandy excuse to, lock things down and increase censorship. And let's go on. Let's move on a little more. I feel like I'm getting bogged in my own brain. Anyways, National Guard to remain active in DC through Inauguration Day, according to reports. So National Guard will remain active until Inauguration Day. So they're basically going to lock down DC until the day. They got 13 days. Another little wrinkle. Senator Chuck Schumer joins call on VP Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from office amid violence at Capitol. Right. So now they're like, we got to get him out of there. It's only 13 days, but we got to get him. We got to get him gone. Again, he wasn't promoting violence, and he wasn't telling people to get violent. So that's kind of a falsehood. Again, I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't think Trump is a great guy, but but don't lie on him like that. He has issues with with election integrity, and a lot of people do on the left and the right. People have issues with election integrity, which they should. They should have concerns around election integrity. So if you're on the right and you have concerns around election integrity, it doesn't immediately make you wrong. If I remember, I think, didn't we spend 3 years probing the possibility that Trump was elected with the help of the Russians? I think that was called a concern around election integrity. And the left had no problem with that. Anyways, going to Joshua Johnson, breaking: Twitter suspends President Trump's account for 12 hours, calling for the removal of recent tweets that have been flagged for inciting violence. Again, there wasn't anything in there that incited violence. He just said, I'm questioning the election results. So that's not the same thing. Questioning election integrity is not the same thing as inciting violence. But if you can conflate language like that, what is it? I was just watching, the Michael Dowd video that I just referenced a couple days ago had a quote, and I'm paraphrasing, that said something: if we want to see how civilizations fall apart, if you want to see, how empires go down, look at the language. Look at the language and look at what, how they're conflating one thing with another. How it's just saying this word over here means this word over here, or this idea over here, when it doesn't just mean this word over here. Anyways, as a result of unprecedented and ongoing violent situation in Washington, D.C., we've required the removal of 3 of Donald Trump's tweets that were posted earlier today for repeated and severe violations of our civic integrity policy. Okay, I mean, you might think this is all fine and well. Fine. But again, what about your cause? What about the thing that you're really passionate about? What about the thing that you want to fight for truth and knowledge and awareness around? What about the time when that is censored for not being, for inciting violence or inciting domestic terrorism, or, being outside of we're going to fact check this tweet. We're going to fact check this tweet. Population being an issue concerning climate change has been debunked. Check Wikipedia for that. Planet of the Humans has been debunked. Check Wikipedia for that. What about when it's your cause? What about when it's your side? Does anybody ever get their tweets fact checked about Russia? Russiagate has been debunked. The Russian hoax has been debunked. Fact check. Nope, that never happens. Never happens. Right? Interglacial optimists get Congress out of Washington permanently. So, again, maybe it is all a big MAGA plot. Or maybe it's a big old false flag that makes everybody go like, yes, we need more control. We need more control. We need more censorship. We need these bad ideas to be stamped out once and for all. Jay Brandt, I do think the censorship of Trump is going to assist his martyr status amongst his loyalists. And then there's that. Good point. I like the point. And then there's that. You want to give him more power? Squash the ability for him and his followers to state their case on social media. If you want to, drive more people to the other side. For the biosphere, now they erected a tall black chain link fence around the Capitol which is likely going to be a lethal perimeter from now on, guarding against future draconian bills being passed by Congress. Sure. David Simonson, yikes. Yeah. Clay Baum says it was Kazakhstan. They sent Borat to manipulate the election. I am coming to get some of your freedoms. Gene says next they'll block fake vaccine news. Well, they already do. That's the thing, right? That's what they're doing. If you're a vaccine skeptic, if you're against vaccines, that means, oh my God, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a QAnon. You're a Great Reset person. You're a, you're a Trumper. Okay. Let's look at this tweet from Michael Tracy. There is no insurrection happening. A bunch of amped up yahoos stormed the Capitol due to an inadequate security presence. Again, why is it so inadequate? They knew this was coming. Why is it so inadequate? All sides knew this was coming. Okay, it wasn't just like, oh, Trump arranged this. Really? Okay. With all the people that are so anti-Trump, the entire Congress, the entire Senate, the entire government apparatus doesn't know this is coming. Okie dokie. Yeah. Trump is a bumbling, stumbling doofus, but he, somehow masterminded this whole storming of the Senate chambers. Okie dokie. But the false threat of insurrection is already being used to justify all manner of extreme censorship and soon curtailment of civil liberties. Ding, ding, ding. Let's look at another tweet from Taylor Hudak. Yes, if Congress manages to impeach Trump when he is already leaving office in a few weeks, yet took almost a year to work out only $600 for us, who they are obliged to serve after they all told us we can't go to work, F them. Yeah. Oh, guys, man, we just can't come to an agreement on any stimulus package. We can't seem to be able to help the American people. Golly gee willikers, we can't pass this $2,000 check to people. Man, we're going to impeach the president in 13 days. And they're already doing it. Ilhan Omar, articles of impeachment for introduction. And all the Congress people are like, yeah, we got to get him. But here's an interesting thing about this. Where'd it go? Well, anyways, the articles of impeachment were written up a couple days ago. So they've been trying to get this in the works. It's just going to be interesting to see how fast that happens if they actually try to do that. Roger Hallam weighs in. As breakdowns increase, only citizens' assemblies can bring societies together. Before riots turn into civil wars, pretending this is not structural is delusional. Roger Hallam. This is from Bess. Liberals when Trump wants to commit a lame coup. Fascist outrageous. Liberals when the U.S. intervenes in Venezuela. Let's go. They need democracy, not a dictator. Ding, ding, ding. And check this out. Bolivia and Venezuela have sent a message to Biden and the Dems. If you don't like what Trump supporters did today, please stop doing the same thing to our countries. Right? This is what they're claiming is happening to them, but when the shoe's on another foot, when the dictator is in another country, he goes on to say countries that the U.S. intervened Oh, you mean they like intervened? You mean like they interfered with their elections? Or maybe they just straight up overthrew them? Maybe you mean the U.S. actually instigated a coup? In the red, countries that U.S. intervened through military operations backing dictators, militias and terrorists, CIA operations, and other means, resulting in resources land stealing resources, stealing land, destruction of public services, and ruin with debt, populations enslaved, and more. There you go. Anyways, Congress has certified the 2020 Electoral College vote. Joe Biden is president, so that's pretty much that. And yeah, I mean, you know, Trump will be gone eventually, depending on how much craziness happens between now and then. And, you know, we're going to finish up on a little bit of climate change analysis. Thin Democratic control of Senate offers Biden chance for steps on climate. Well, and again, I'm going to say, oh, hold on. I want to just bring you this other thing. No, I don't want to bring you this other. Okay, so somebody was saying like, oh, let's get rid of the Electoral College. If we get rid of the Electoral College, Republicans will never win again. We'll just have a Democratic majority forever and ever. Just, and how good it's going to be for the people, right? Just take a look at California and see how great things are, you know, how we have our Medi-Cal for all. How California has given everybody housing and given everybody medical care, right? How California is just doing all the good things. Or not, because we have a Democratic supermajority. So, you know, the idea that you're going to get rid of the Electoral College and it's all going to be, bonbons and peanut butter. I don't know, bonbons and peanut butter. Sounds like a good combination to me. Bonbons and peanut butter for all the liberals everywhere for time immemorial. Yeah, just look at California and see that, you know, how great that goes for, right? We're so progressive. I think we have a little more of a minimum wage, but I don't think California's at $15 minimum wage. Not yet. Let's find out real quick. $14 an hour. Well, there you go. Well, we're more progressive than most, but still can't get Medicare for all. Still can't stop selling oil drilling permits. Still can't stop fracking, etc., etc. And let's see, where are we now? This is from Vanessa Nakate, who is, I guess, something known as like the Greta Thunberg of Africa. She's an African climate activist. The Paris Agreement aims to keep temperatures below 1.5 degrees Celsius, but I want people to understand that a rise of 1.2 degrees Celsius is already hell for me and other people living in Uganda and on the African continent. True story, right? How smashed up have African countries been this last year due to climate change? Floods, drought, locusts, losing their aquifers, losing their groundwater, losing their wells. Africa is one of the places where climate change is already taking its toll, and a very large toll at that. And we're only at 1.2, establishment narrative 1.2. Supposedly that's real. Yeah, and we can thank guys like this for all the lovely climate damage going on. Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world. Everybody, break out the party balloons. A 4.8% rally in Tesla's share price Thursday boosted Elon Musk past Amazon founder Jeff Bezos on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, a ranking of the world's 500 wealthiest people. Is this guy talking about giving up his wealth for climate change or greatly reducing his impact? Is he talking about like real answers for climate change beyond, can I sell you an electric car? Come into my showroom. I've got a fine electric car to sell you. Or a trip to Mars. What's it going to be? You can get both of those on layaway. Just put down a couple grand right now for your trip to Mars, and you can pay me back later. But it's going to be really cool. Really cool. We're going to, take a bong rip and go to Mars Bros, and it's going to be really cool. All right. Yay. Oh, I didn't show you his smug ass face. There's the richest guy on the planet. Mr. Smug Lips. All right. Guys, it wraps up for me. Hold on. One more. Sorry. Oh, this is a funny article. I just wanted to kind of simply say, I saw this article and I read it a little bit and I also laughed a little bit. Why chimpanzees don't hold elections, the power of social reality. So humans are the only animals who can simply make things up, agree on them as a group, and they become real. So, they're trying to explain like, why do humans do things differently from, animals? Okay. Pretty obvious. But the upshot of this whole article, is in the first sentence of this article. Most of your life takes place in a made-up world. In other words, our entire system is a construct. The way we do things is a construct. Your country is a construct. Your government is a construct. Your lifestyle is a construct. Your money is a construct. Your religion is a construct. You made it up, and you can change it anytime you want. Anytime you want. Anytime we want to change the construct of this world that we live in, we can. It's all made up. So nothing about, whatever. 99% of everything that we do is just stuff that we agreed on that we should do. I don't know. You can go look up this article on undark.org if you really want to read the whole thing. It's kind of mostly like semi-obvious stuff, but again, we could change everything in an instant if we just agreed to change everything in an instant. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I know it's been a little bit of a different show, and I don't know why I got totally rocked off a Rockfin. What the hell? I love it when I'm doing a live stream and they kick me off of Rockfin. Why would they do this? This is totally bizarre. Anyways, guys, hopefully some of the live stream is there. I don't even know how long I've been kicked off of Rockfin. But we are still here on YouTube. Thank you all for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Magical Thinking Barbie, I hear you, I agree. Yeah, we are, we are real, but most of the things we do are made up. Most of the ways we live are made up. And we can do something totally different if we just decide to. Thank you guys. I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time of 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until next time, peace.